So, Kobe's dead.
I know. Very sad.
Man.
He died in a helicopter crash, right?
Yeah, like minutes ago.
I know. That's crazy.
Can't believe it. Like, did you watch basketball when you were growing up?
Not really, but...
Like, the Lakers were like my childhood. That was my life.
Yeah.
When I was little, you know?
The saddest part about it to me is he has, like, what, 4 kids?
I don't know.
Yeah. And,
Jeez.
like, a whole family and everything. That's just awful.
Yeah. Man. Crazy how... Like, what the... How does stuff like that happen?
I know.
He's going for a helicopter ride and... Boom.
Was it just, like, for pleasure? Like,
I have
to
no
tour
idea.
somewhere?
I'm sure we could read about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll check it out later, huh? Well, yeah. So, we're back, everybody.
I'm Satch.
I'm Asher. Somebody's here. Oh, hey! Come say hi.
Come in.
No? Okay. Well, some of the tub is here. They don't want to come say hi, so they're not going to.
Unless.
Hey! Elise, come in.
Hi.
Bye, Elise. Alright, well. That's that.
Audra and Sophia at first, and then Elise.
Yep. Obviously, Audra and Elise look similar because they're twins, but we knew that. Anyway.
Talked about that last time.
I feel like we're gonna end up repeating a lot of the same stuff.
Alright, let's get right into it. We have a few...
Yeah, we had a few talking points
ideas
this time. We want to have it a little more structured so that we're not just rambling idiots talking about nothing. Which I'm fine
It'll
with.
still be that, I'm sure.
I'm sure you're right.
No matter how structured we try to make it.
Yeah. Well, what are we talking about again?
We're talking about... Alright, here's the idea. So... Say there's a scenario in which some genie or whatever will grant you infinite money, but on the condition that you can only be awake for a certain amount of hours out of the day.
I like that it's a genie.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So the question is, what would be your minimum amount of hours during the day that you would be awake for this like scenario to be worth it? Because obviously you wouldn't. So the infinite money is great, but it would be pointless if you could only be awake, you know, whatever, 10 minutes out of the day. You can't do shit. So
invest stocks. Oh wait, you don't need to do that.
Exactly.
Shit.
But obviously it would be worth it if you could be awake, you know, 16 hours. So what's the middle ground where it's the maximum amount that you would...
Where like, what's the cutoff where
you
wouldn't take it anymore?
Yeah.
Where you would take it still?
Yeah. So I think initially when I saw this, I thought, well, I would probably, like, my minimum would be, like, 12, because, like, I still want to experience life. But the fact is, if you don't have to work or, like, do pretty much anything, like, menial or boring, you know?
That's, like, so much of our days.
Yeah, right, exactly.
As it is.
Exactly.
Then the other stuff is just, fuck, you'd have so much time.
I know. All of your time is free time. And... which is great, but that's another thing.
But I feel
that
like
I wanted to
you'd
talk
like
about.
do work stuff in the free. You'd like you'd use your money to do good.
Right.
You know, and that would turn into a lot of work.
Yeah.
But you need enough time. But you'd also, because you're really rich, you'd also probably take a lot of break.
Right.
Like vacation
for sure.
time.
Yeah. And you can also sleep while you're traveling. You could like fly to Hong Kong or something and then wake up there, you know, and spend your day there. But the other thing that the other kind of idea that this brings up is, you know, like, would you enjoy being in this scenario and having no work? Like, does that make you feel like you kind of have no purpose?
No way.
If you just have, like, all this money, but, like, you don't have a job. Like, you have nothing to do, really, except just spend your money.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, something people talk to me a lot about is, like, I mean, people meet me and whatever, and we talk about stuff, and something that I love is surfing, and I love being in Kauai, and that kind of life where you don't have to do much and you just chill and you enjoy your time and hang out with people and listen to music and surf and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of life you could do theoretically on a very low budget.
Right.
But you probably wouldn't end up doing that much meaningful work for the world. And like, while I know I'd love something like that, I wouldn't be satisfied. Right. I mean, I would feel like I'm wasting
so then
my
that's
potential,
the other thing.
my time, and then that plays into this.
Right. So then there's probably, for you, since you're such, like, I think, such a caring person, I think you would feel a lot of pressure. You'd feel a lot of pressure to, like, be really philanthropic.
Philanthropic? Philanthropical. It's where you're good in
the tropics.
In the tropics.
You can edit that on post.
No, we're keeping that. I think we're gonna call this one the Philanthropic
Perfect.
Podcast. I just killed everyone's ears with that clap as well. Okay, anyway, thanks, man. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
you wouldn't want to like spend pretty much any free time. I feel like you would feel guilty for spending.
If I had, I think it probably works the other way. It's like the more money I have, the less free time I'd actually want to. Like the more, it's not even about the money though. It's just money in this sense equals ability to make change.
Right.
So the more ability to make change that you have, or that I have, I think I'd probably.
Right.
I think you're right. I probably would want to spend. I'd feel more guilty about spending free time doing.
Right, because then you're
Just like
thinking
leisure.
like what's more worth it for me? Like a day surfing in Kauai, or like a day that you can spend like feeding millions and millions of people and like
investing.
Investing in
good companies.
Right,
and
exactly.
helping whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shoot, this is a good question, Satch.
It's loaded.
Yeah, shoot. I mean, we got to ask your side of it as well. Or what do you think?
I think.
So we haven't even gotten to the minimum time.
Yeah,
thing.
right. So you're stepping on my foot.
You're stepping on my foot. Oh, my bad.
I think, so like I was saying initially, I kind of was hovering around like 11, 12 hours. But I think really it could be a lot less than that. I think I would be okay, like, for more like selfless reasons, like for reasons that I could do good with my money. I think I'd be okay with even like 3 hours a day.
Really?
Or like 2, because then, because you're still getting all the money. You're still like doing all the good.
Hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can hire people and
That's
just
true.
tell them what to do. And
have you seen the movie In Time?
No.
With Justin Timberlake, and
No.
I don't know who the female lead is. It's really good, but the whole point is they have these clocks on their arms.
I have seen that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
and they keep the like time in
right,
vaults.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a great movie.
But it makes me think of it because like they always talk about like you could do a lot in a day because he's always living with just one day of time,
right?
And in that day he has to do work so that he makes more
Enough
a day at
right.
least,
right?
More time,
right?
So that he can survive and do it again.
I remember one scene where they were both sprinting to like a police car.
Yeah. Well, that's the end.
Yeah. Oh, it is. All right, let's not spoil it.
Yeah, but there is a point where they like I mean the main character starts with nothing, like no time, you know,
right?
Like one day. But there's a point where he has more time, and he has to leave somebody else with a small amount of time, who was rich before and had a lot of time, and he leaves them. When he leaves the person, he says to them, like he says that line, "You can do a lot in a day." The person's like freaking out. He's like, "What?" You can do a lot. Don't worry about it. He's like, I've lived like that my whole life. Yeah, so you can do a lot in 2-3 hours if you put your mind to it. Especially if you cut all the random crap and then also all the menial work that you don't want to do. Because then all the stuff you're doing, you will want to do.
So I would probably just like eat nutrition shakes while I'm sleeping through an IV or something. So I don't have to waste time eating. You know?
You want to be on it. You want to be efficient. Use your money, use your time as efficiently as possible.
There's so much good you can do with
true.
Infinite money.
I guess infinite money sets it up in a way where your time just becomes so valuable. It's like the whole thing where whatever Bill Gates should not pick up a $100 bill if he drops it because he'll lose money.
Yeah, right.
It's like that. But okay, so here's the thing though. What if we reframe this so it's not infinite money, but it's just like a very comfortable big amount of money?
We'll call it $1 billion.
Like forever or like per year? That's still infinite in my mind.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's say you're making
call it $100 billion forever. Say you get $100 billion.
No, I want to make this like that's something that we can wrap our minds around.
Okay,
then I can't wrap my head around.
Then let's do it.
Let's say you make like $10 million a year.
Okay, then why don't we break it down into days? So we'll call it like 100,000 a day.
I don't know if that's whatever.
It's a little more.
Let's call it that. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay, so you make $100,000 in a day, doing nothing.
So how does that change?
So how much time would you be willing to? What's your minimum amount of time?
So I think it would have to be more than 2-3 hours. I think it would probably be more like 6. because you can still hire people to do, most of the work. Sure. And obviously you would.
So in this world, you probably run a company.
Yeah, you would be running a company probably and investing heavily.
Yeah.
Probably.
Very much so, investing.
The thing is, $100,000 a day, like, of course it's a lot of money, but in the context of, like, billionaires, that's nothing.
No, it's a lot, Satch.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
100.
Okay, because a day.
100,000 a day.
Because what is that a year?
36 million. 36.5 million a year.
Oh, that's pretty like.
That's pretty average when Bill Gates has what, 60, 80 billion dollars? I don't know.
Way too much.
A lot of money.
A lot more money than we're thinking
and
about.
Warren Buffett,
Yeah, all these assholes.
Right.
Okay, no, they're great people. Anyway, I was just reading about Bill Gates actually in Outliers. I don't know if we talked about Outliers last week.
We have not.
It's this Malcolm Gladwell book. Came out, I don't know, 2008, something like that. 2009 maybe. Anyway, it just talks about people like who are successful and how they get there, and how it's not about it's about way more than just being talented and working hard.
Right.
Like the amount of crazy coincidence opportunities that Bill Gates got.
Right.
To get where he is today are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, and you have to have not just 2 or 3, you have to have all of them. They have to line up.
It all just has to line
perfectly.
Up right. I think we may have actually talked about it with the hockey.
Oh yeah, we did.
Maybe not on Tubcast episode 1, but I think we did talk about this where, so basically they took a commentary from like a professional hockey game and they replaced all the players' names with their birthdays. And what they found is that players that were born very close to January 1st, like just a little bit after, were the most successful hockey players.
Yeah.
Because that's the cutoff for like age divisions when you're young.
For all like the elite leagues or whatever, the all-star teams and stuff.
And so obviously like 6 months or 9 months when you're 35 years old, when you're like a pro player, doesn't matter. But when you're 4 years old and you're playing against someone that's 4 years and 11 months old, that's a big difference.
That's a huge difference.
That's a massive difference.
You are getting screwed if you're a 4-year-old.
They're 125% your age almost.
Yeah.
So.
Wait. Yeah.
Like 4 to 5.
I really had to think about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. Crazy. Yeah, no, seriously. And that's when it all starts. And the problem is, like, it wouldn't be so much of a problem if they didn't do this next thing, which is once they've divided the people who are good, aka bigger and older, into one league and the other people into the other league, the people in the other league just don't have any chance to keep getting better.
Right.
They're playing with people who aren't as talented because of their size.
Right.
They're playing with, they're just not looked at anymore.
It's almost impossible to get back into a better league.
Like they do the commentary and I don't know, they mention like 10 people's names. It's all January 3rd, February 2nd.
January 3rd passes the puck to February 4th.
He takes a shot on March 2nd.
And then December 19th, what's he doing on the court?
And it says what's he doing on the court in parentheses, and that's awesome. It's just so funny. That's a great book.
Yeah.
Anyways. I don't know what if it was just $100,000 a day. You could still do a lot. That's still like money that you could really, if you just only cared about doing good, and making something.
If you only cared about doing good,
awesome.
And
you need to be awake less time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if your sole like incentive from this whole situation is just to do good, then like, just need 30 minutes, 20 minutes. You just tell people in your company what to do, they do it, you go back to
and then you fix everything if they've messed up.
Yeah, right.
After that.
And that's.
And then you can dream about.
Yeah, then you could use one of those. Like,
you invest in one of those. Yeah.
Things, and then you can work it all out.
You do what they do in Inception. You still haven't seen Inception?
I watched Inception.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we're break.
Thank God. They do what they do in Inception, where the people go to the place to dream, and then they just dream. That would be perfect. Yeah. No, but okay. Then the next question is, if you're not this selfless, amazing person, because I don't know.
Right.
How amazing we actually are. What would you be willing to live with? Like, I wouldn't do half an hour a day. Maybe if I could do that much good, but half an hour.
I know, that sucks. That's so sad.
That's nothing. That's so sad. You live like the saddest existence.
You're literally.
And you just work.
You're
the
awake
whole time.
You would be awake for 180 hours a year. That's 15 hours a month. You're awake.
That's nothing.
That's awful. That's how much you're awake in like one day. So yeah, assuming we're not perfect, selfless beings.
Because we're not.
Because we're not.
Well, I'm not.
Perfect.
I don't know about you.
I don't think I am.
Well, in that case...
Well, let's try the other extreme. Say you wanted to spend, like, all the money just on yourself. So say you're getting $100K a day, and you just want to spend it on selfish purposes.
Oh.
Then
how long would you be willing to be awake? You have to be awake longer.
Yeah. So...
It'd have to be, like... I don't know. All of these times are kind of arbitrary.
Right. Yeah, I know. So think about, like, how much, like...
Like, what would you want to do every day?
I don't know.
Would it come down to something like that?
It would probably just be something different every day.
Yeah.
And, like, eating out, like, at insanely expensive restaurants and, like...
Cooking.
Yeah. How do you even spend $100,000 a day? You,
like, you would have to spend it every day.
Well, you don't have
to. But you could.
Yeah, you could.
Because you wouldn't need to save it because
you could buy
you're just going to get...
You can buy a new car
every day.
That's so crazy.
Okay, well, I mean, you'd buy, like, one car. I would buy only one car. You don't need more than a car. Maybe. I don't even like cars.
Save up for, like, a helicopter or something. Or you could buy, like, a jetpack. I don't know how much those...
I'd want to be in, like, exotic, awesome places. And, like, travel the world.
For sure.
But also relax in some of that time and use it just, like... I mean, I would want to just surf and, like, it'd mainly be, like, surfing... Eating food. Eating lots of good food. Food's my favorite thing in the world, you know? Like,
I think it would honestly all depend on, like, if you could do this with friends. Like, if you could go with friends...
Well, you could pay for them.
True.
You have $100,000.
And then they would just be awake while you're passed out.
Well, they just be awake whenever they want, and you're just, like, partying with your friends and then just like honk out like halfway.
I'd probably do it for like 5 hours, 6 hours.
Really? Wow. I don't know what I would
bring
do.
Friends and stuff.
I think it's cool to talk about all this stuff, but when you get down to timing, it just gets so arbitrary in my head.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how, unless we quantified like how long you'd be doing each activity. I don't think I could assign.
You don't even have to do that. You just
know?
have to think about like now, like as we're living like normally.
Probably like 7 hours, 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of what?
Like same. Like, that's how I'd be willing to do it for that.
Oh, right.
If
well I'm saying, like, how much pleasurable time do you spend each day? Like, on average. Like, on a weekend, how much of the time you spend is, like, spent having fun, I guess?
Like, actually, or, like, I mean, because there's a lot of random sitting around that happens with us for some reason.
Right.
I don't like that.
But it's still mostly fun. Like,
yeah, it's mostly fun.
Meals are really fun.
Meals are
just
super
hanging
fun.
out.
We probably spend like at least 3 hours on meals because we sit at the table forever after we finish eating.
I don't know.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So let's say you got 3 hours on meals. We go out at the end of the day on like a Friday or whatever.
Yeah, that's usually 4 hours.
For like,
like 3 hours.
Let's say like 10 to like 1.
Maybe 10 to 12.
So we probably start like 9.
We'll call it 2 to 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
Sure.
For that's 6. Safe. So you got 6 hours plus
and then
just like
random stuff
fun, like a movie or reading a book.
That's
or
maybe another 2 hours. So like 8 hours.
Yeah, like 8 hours.
But then also you have to take into consideration how much more fun are you having, like with $100,000 a day.
And that's the part where that's where you can get back to that question of would you do this?
Right.
And I don't know. Would you be having significantly that much more fun? I guess it does get arbitrary though, because you have to frame it as, are you being totally selfish or are you not? Because if you balance it, I feel like one would just take over.
Right.
Because to be really good and like use your money that well, you would have to dedicate all of that waking time to it. I mean, like just watching like even like my dad with his business. I mean, the amount of time he spends on the phone and like fixing problems is ridiculous. He gets like tons of emails a minute. You know?
Right.
He has to be constantly on it or else, like even when he's on vacation, he's always working. He has to. Like we'll go to Kauai and he'll leave halfway through because he has to go home and work.
Right.
Or else like stuff falls apart, you know? But even on the days where like he'll surf in the morning with me and then he'll go back and work for a while, I'll do whatever, and then we'll go get lunch together and then he'll work some more. He maybe even goes to a job site on the island or something. And then maybe we'll go on a hike or surf again or go to the beach or something. Like do another fun thing.
Right.
in the afternoon.
But he's just so devoted to his job,
Yeah.
and that's probably what would happen.
That's like his free time.
Yeah,
now.
there's no
Yeah.
there's no way to like find a perfect like middle ground. Eventually, you're gonna swing one way or the other. I feel like.
I think so. Either you're
either
get
gonna
consumed by the work and the job that you love,
or you
because
get
what it does.
consumed by how much you like.
Or I think I was gonna say it's just too much and you can't handle it.
Right.
And then you break down and just revert to leisure.
Right.
Because you could.
Right.
Whereas most people with regular jobs can't.
Right.
Because then you don't have money.
Right. The other
There's
thing
no
is you can, like we're saying, you can hire people to do practically whatever you want with
Yeah.
$100,000 a day.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you can do whatever you want.
You do
without-
not have to clean anything.
No.
That's for sure.
You're not making your own bed.
Ah, that's
Damn.
kind of enjoyable. No, I'm fucking,
Is it?
No.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm messing with you. Shoot. That was a really good question.
Right?
Not gonna lie.
I think it's
Damn.
interesting to play around with like how much money you're getting. Like how does that affect? Because like
I think
obviously,
these
like we said,
values are
it's
just so
different.
ridiculous.
It is all arbitrary. But like we said, it's different if it's infinite and if it's 100K a day, and so
Totally.
it would be different if it were infinite or 1,000 a day, 300K a year. You know,
Yeah.
you would want to be awake probably like 9-10 hours a day, I'd say.
Yeah. Is there room, like in these scenarios, is there room to like make more money?
Yeah, of course.
So like,
You can invest.
Like if you're getting $1,000 a day, I feel like you'd want to be awake a decent amount so you can just like upscale and
Right.
make more.
Right.
I don't know.
But you could still like with
You could live
$1,000.
comfortably for sure.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
You could surf and eat out every meal.
But you don't
and-
need to because, but then I'd feel like you have to do the other side.
Yeah, with that much though, I feel like
How much
that's-
good can you do?
Yeah, right. That's not an incredible amount of money. Like
No, that's really
$360,000. I mean, to us is an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
But you're not changing the world like with a third of $1
Depends
million.
depends what you're working
Yeah,
on.
it's true, but
If you're just getting
unless
that
you have,
income
like,
passively, that's
Right.
actually helpful. And then you could. I
unless
think you
you
could
have
still
like
make a lot
some
of good.
environmental startup that's like
Yeah. Here's the thing,
or
though.
something.
So okay, what if? So, what if you're just making like enough money to live comfortably?
Right.
And when I say comfortably, I mean like you have a room like with a bed in it, and you can
And you
sleep,
can get 3 meals a day.
and you can get 3 like good enough that you're content with them. You don't need anything better meals a day, like not the rat.
Right.
So you have like all the basics.
We'll
you got
call
like
that-
a good shower.
We'll call that $150 a day.
Like $150.
I
Okay.
think so.
Okay. So let's say
It's really
let's say,
arbitrary.
let's say you're
Just-
given that.
I think
whatever.
ignore numbers on this.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have all the basics. Okay. You don't have to work because you're just getting this passively.
Right.
Okay. Now you have time. Like
Right.
you could still do good.
Right.
A lot.
Right.
So I think $1,000 a day. That is like a crazy amount, and you can probably go pretty nuts and do a lot of
Yeah.
good with that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty interesting. So you don't need a lot. You just need a good setup that allows you. Really, what it just means is you need to work on something that you love, and that helps the world. Because then this isn't a made-up scenario, and this
Yeah,
is
right.
just your life
Right.
that you do rely on. It just means there's no back door where you can dip. That's the one
Right.
difference.
And the other difference is that you're awake for
The whole
all
time.
waking hours of the
Yeah.
day. Yeah, right.
And that's probably better.